According to everything we know about mass extinction, this dinosaur should not exist. When the asteroid struck Earth, ecosystems collapsed, food chains broke, and nearly all large animals disappeared. But this one survived. It lived when the world was already falling apart. And its survival forced scientists to rethink what extinction really looked like. Before we reveal which dinosaur defied extinction, consider this. Paleontologists spent decades building a timeline they believed was absolute. The asteroid hit, dinosaurs died. End of story. But in 2019, a team excavating in New Mexico found something that shouldn't exist. A hadrosaur femur located just 13 centimeters above the KT boundary. That's less than 6 inches. In geological terms, that means this animal was alive when it had no right to be. The lead paleontologist stared at that bone for 3 hours before calling his team. He knew what it meant. He knew it would rewrite textbooks, and he was right. To understand how this dinosaur survived when so many others vanished, we need to go back to the final days of the age of dinosaurs. Long before the impact, Earth was already under stress. The Deccan Traps in modern-day India had been erupting for nearly 300,000 years. These weren't normal volcanic eruptions. Lava flows stretched for hundreds of miles. Sulfur dioxide filled the atmosphere. Global temperatures swung wildly, sometimes dropping 8 degrees Celsius in a matter of decades, then spiking back up just as quickly. Imagine being a dinosaur adapted to tropical forests, and suddenly your world experiences Arctic winters, then switches back, then freezes again. Forests began to shrink. The lush vegetation that covered much of North America and Asia started dying back. Seasonal droughts became more frequent. Rivers dried up. Large dinosaurs depended on stable ecosystems. A single adult Tyrannosaurus needed to consume roughly 40,000 calories per day. That's equivalent to 292 modern hamburgers, every single day. Plants fed herbivores, herbivores fed predators. Once that balance began to collapse, the entire system followed. The apex predators began showing signs of stress. Fossil evidence from the late Cretaceous shows healed injuries that would have been fatal in earlier periods. Why? Because prey was becoming scarce. Predators were taking bigger risks, getting injured more often. Herbivores started competing for dwindling plant resources. Growth rings in dinosaur bones from this period show irregular patterns, evidence of seasonal starvation. Extinction didn't begin with the asteroid. The asteroid only finished what nature had already weakened. Then came the impact. 66 million years ago, an asteroid roughly 10 kilometers wide, about the size of Manhattan, traveling at 72,000 kilometers per hour, slammed into what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Let me put that speed in perspective. That's 60 times faster than a bullet, 20 times faster than sound. When it hit, it released energy equivalent to 10 billion Hiroshima bombs. The impact crater, Chicxulub, measured 180 kilometers across and 20 kilometers deep. The asteroid vaporized instantly. So did everything within 1,500 kilometers. The shockwave radiated outward at supersonic speeds. Trees were flattened 10,000 kilometers away. The impact triggered magnitude 10+ earthquakes. That's off the scale we use today. Within minutes, molten rock was ejected into the atmosphere. These superheated particles re-entered Earth's atmosphere across the globe, turning the sky into an oven. Forests ignited spontaneously. The entire planet experienced firestorms simultaneously. Tsunamis over 300 meters tall, taller than the Chrysler Building, swept across coastlines. Geological evidence shows these waves traveled inland for hundreds of kilometers. Then came the darkness. Billions of tons of vaporized rock, sulfur, and ash were thrown into the stratosphere. The sun disappeared. Not for days, for months. Some models suggest up to 2 years of near-total darkness. Temperatures plummeted. Without sunlight, photosynthesis stopped. Plants died, herbivores starved, predators followed. Most dinosaurs didn't die instantly. They starved. They froze. They slowly disappeared as plants and animals vanished around them. Studies of fossil deposits show that 75% of all species on Earth went extinct. Among large animals, anything over 25 kilograms, the extinction rate was over 90%. This is where almost every dinosaur's story ends. But not this one. This dinosaur wasn't massive. It measured roughly 3 meters long, about the size of a large horse. It wasn't heavily armored. It wasn't the apex predator. By every known rule of survival, it should have vanished quickly. Think about what made a successful dinosaur for 160 million years. Size, speed, specialized adaptations. The biggest herbivores could reach vegetation others couldn't. The fastest predators caught prey, others missed. Armored species survived attacks. But after the impact, all those advantages became liabilities. Large size, that meant needing massive amounts of food in a world where food had disappeared. Speed, useless when there was nothing to chase. Armor, just extra weight to carry when every calorie counted. This dinosaur had none of those advantages. It lived in a world without stable food, without sunlight, and without the ecosystems dinosaurs depended on for over 160 million years. For decades, scientists believed dinosaurs disappeared suddenly and completely. The KT boundary, that thin layer of iridium-rich clay that marks the asteroid impact, was supposed to be the hard stop. Dinosaurs below, no dinosaurs above, clean, simple, final. Until the fossils told a different story. In certain locations, paleontologists discovered dinosaur fossils incredibly close to the extinction boundary. Not just close, some were found in rock layers that formed after the impact. The first discoveries were in the Hell Creek formations in Montana, a hadrosaur bone found 40 centimeters above the boundary. At first, many assumed the dating was wrong. Geologists rechecked. The dating was correct. Others believed the fossils had been moved by erosion, that ancient floods or earthquakes had pushed older bones into younger rock layers. But detailed analysis showed these bones were in their original burial position. They hadn't been moved. They died where they were found. Then came New Mexico. Then Wyoming. Then Alberta, Canada. The evidence kept appearing, again and again. In 2011, a team found a Triceratops horn that dated to 64.8 million years ago, more than 1 million years after the asteroid impact. Paleontologists faced an uncomfortable truth. Something was wrong with the old story. But here's what most people, and most documentaries, miss completely. These weren't just random survivors hanging on for a few extra months. The fossil evidence suggests some species of dinosaurs survived for hundreds, possibly thousands of years after the impact. Think about what that means. This wasn't a dinosaur that got lucky. This was a dinosaur that adapted to a post-apocalyptic world and thrived long enough to reproduce, raise young, and establish populations. And here's the detail almost no documentary talks about. This dinosaur didn't survive because it was strong, it survived because it was adaptable. Let me explain exactly how. While large hadrosaurs needed fresh vegetation, tender leaves, young shoots, this dinosaur wasn't picky. Fossil analysis of its teeth shows wear patterns consistent with eating roots, seeds, bark, insects, and decaying plant material. When the forest died, it switched to whatever was available. Dead wood contained insect larvae, protein, calories. Roots survived longer underground, where they were insulated from temperature extremes. This dinosaur could dig them out. It wasn't waiting for forests to recover. It was eating what extinction left behind. It lived low to the ground. Its body mass was small enough that it required only about 2,000 calories per day, the equivalent of a modern human. In a world of scarcity, that was a massive advantage. It didn't depend on complex ecosystems to survive. Large predators needed herbivores. Herbivores needed specific plants. Plants needed stable climates. This dinosaur just needed something, anything. In a world of collapse, simplicity became an advantage. Evidence from burrow structures found in late Cretaceous and early Paleogene deposits suggests some small dinosaurs may have hidden underground. These burrows show signs of habitation, fossilized nesting materials, coprolites, bones. Imagine the intelligence required. While the surface world burned, this dinosaur dug. It stayed underground during firestorms. It avoided freezing temperatures at night by using thermal insulation from the Earth itself. Modern studies of animals that survived other mass extinctions show a pattern. Survivors were generalists, not specialists. They could eat multiple food types. They could live in various environments. They could change behavior quickly. This dinosaur exhibited all those traits. It didn't fight extinction. It endured it. While giants disappeared, this dinosaur waited. While specialists starved, this dinosaur adapted. While the old world died, this dinosaur prepared for the new one. This discovery changed how scientists understand extinction. It wasn't instant, it wasn't equal, and it wasn't clean. Some dinosaurs vanished immediately in the firestorms. Others survived days or weeks before starvation took them. And a select few, the adaptable ones, survived far longer than anyone expected. Extinction wasn't a single moment. It was a process that took years, decades, possibly even millennia to fully complete. And that changes everything we thought we knew. If this dinosaur survived when it shouldn't have, what else do we misunderstand about Earth's greatest catastrophe? Perhaps some dinosaurs didn't go extinct at all. Perhaps they evolved into the birds we see today, not through a smooth transition, but through a brutal selection process where only the most adaptable survived. Recent genetic studies of modern birds show explosive diversification immediately after the KT boundary, as if some surviving lineage, suddenly found itself in a world of opportunity. Maybe those survivors were the ancestors we never knew existed. Scientists now believe that recovery from the asteroid impact took 10 million years. That's how long it took for ecosystems to rebuild, for forests to return, for life to find balance again. But during those 10 million years, life didn't stop. It adapted, it changed, it survived. Maybe survival was never about being the strongest. Maybe it was always about being the most adaptable. The next time you see a bird, consider this. You're looking at a dinosaur, not a descendant, a dinosaur. One whose ancestors survived the unsurvivable by being flexible, resilient, and willing to change. That small dinosaur that should not have survived taught us the most important lesson in Earth's history. Extinction doesn't choose the most powerful. It chooses the most adaptable. And that's a lesson worth remembering. If this story changed how you think about survival and extinction, leave a comment below. What other extinct animals do you think might have survived longer than we realize? And if you want to see more videos uncovering the hidden truths of prehistoric life, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Because the real history is always more incredible than the story we were told.